never get free. Lamb to the slaughter. What you gon' do when there's blood in the water? The price of your greed is your son and your daughter. What you gon' do when there's blood in the water?
This is the Ground and Pound podcast from Winners Only Club. This is a combat sports podcast that is released weekly with 1 to 2 episodes per week. Please subscribe. We hope you guys enjoy.
Shook up the world.
I'm not surprised.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants.
All right, welcome back. Another episode, final episode of 2021. We got all three of us here today. Boys, how you doing?
I'm good.
Not too bad.
I haven't seen you guys in a while, so it's good to be back.
Hope everyone had a good Christmas. We hope that everyone listening had a good Merry Christmas or Happy Kwanzaa, I think was just happened. So let's start with the funniest news that came out of the MMA world. 65,000. Does that number say anything to you?
I think it's a big indication that Jake Paul is not the future of boxing or the face of boxing.
I mean, I think he gets noticed online, but I think most of the people that are actually, watching his fight are either highlights or just doing illegal streams.
I also think that the Woodley factor was a huge difference too. I think if Fury was there, it probably would have bumped up to more close to 100K in my opinion. But
yeah, definitely. It definitely would have had more views, especially since it would have probably done better numbers in the UK as well.
in the UK, just outside of the MMA community for the Woodley thing, Tommy Fury has a big following themselves.
But I mean, it's so bad. 65,000. Like, you can't say that stuff and then try to get names out of the UFC like Jorge Masvidal, Conor McGregor. Like, they're never gonna go over to that for 65,000. Especially since Conor and Mayweather, I believe, did over 2 million.
Yeah, the numbers aren't even. That's not even a free fight in the UFC. Like, amount of draws. So like,
no, I would actually guarantee that more people tuned in for Dawkins versus Lewis the same night than Paul Woodley too.
Yeah, the crazy. Even if that was a pay-per-view, there's probably going to be enough people that would buy it close to that.
Yeah, if more people bought Lewis versus Gane, then it's pretty big indication. Or the Usman Burns fight, more people bought that. So pretty much every UFC pay-per-view ever has been bought more than that fight.
Absolutely.
There's some of I actually looked at the numbers earlier. I believe like there was a couple of like the really early ones that did less than 65K, like UFC like 30. So I mean, back when no one cared.
I think that's an indication of where boxing is too. Boxing's not. MMA is so like on a huge incline right now, and boxing from the last probably 10 to 15 years have been drastically changing.
Yeah, and the marketing wasn't great. I'm not gonna lie about that. Outside of Jake Paul's Twitter, I didn't really see any advertisements for this. So if you're relying on one guy's Twitter and TikTok accounts, you're probably not going to do too well on the pay-per-view scale. Especially with Showtime, I think people have had enough of their shit.
This second time around, there wasn't any animosity between the two of them. I mean, he's buying Woodley a Rolex. They're laughing together. And the fight already happened, so there was just no excitement. We've seen it before. There was no trash talk this time. At least the first time had a lot of trash talk and animosity. We didn't get to see that. So,
do you think Showtime lost money on this? They had to have, right?
With 65,000 buys, absolutely.
Like to rent out the entire arena, to pay all of the boxers, because outside of even just what was on like the pay-per-view, there were fights before that. I couldn't even find those for free. So
Aaron Williams and Frank Gore. Do you guys want to talk about how awful that was?
yeah, we can kind of highlight it real quick. They should probably just stick to their respected sports. That's really what it comes down to.
I mean, isn't that for most people doing the celebrity boxing?
There's a difference between celebrity boxing and trying to say that you're a professional boxer because you were a professional athlete elsewhere. Because, like, I believe that there was one time where, now I don't think this was super serious, but Johnny Depp wanted to box Elon Musk. I would pay for that. I would pay for it, and I'd know that it's going to be a joke of a fight.
Absolutely.
But neither of those two are going to say, we're now professional boxers. Frank Gore was talking about his career, where his career goes from here. I was like, are you kidding? You lost to Deron Williams, and you're like 40 years old.
And the headline it said Deron Williams wins pro debut. That's not the term professional in boxing. I was just so disregarded. Like that.
Oh, anyone can turn professional. It doesn't matter.
Be a professional boxer if he signed a fight on Showtime.
If I have a Tapology account, I'm now a professional boxer. That's really what it comes down to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The other Jake Paul news, Dana kind of clapped back, and now we have not heard anything back from him. Where all Jake Paul seems to have on Dana is that he believes that he snorts a ton of cocaine and bangs hookers. And so Dana, being a smartass that he is, said, I'll let you drug test me for the next 10 years if I can do steroid tests on you for the next 2. And Jake Paul has not responded.
I think he's just not entertaining it. Honestly, I do not think Jake Paul is on steroids. He's not on steroids. Look, I can promise you Jake Paul is not on steroids. He'd look a little bit different. But Dana White is definitely probably on coke. So that's the one thing I'm not going to agree with Uncle Dana for.
I don't know. I mean, he did gain a lot of muscle from fight 1 to fight 2. Obviously, there was time for him to train, so I'm not saying it's impossible to do it. But, I mean, there's some sketchy personality traits to Jake Paul.
He was training for a bigger fighter as well, though. So he did going into the fight, he said he was going to focus on strength and conditioning. I just think it's a funny bet. I want to see what he says to it. He's probably going to put some big little dig at Dana out soon.
The steroid conversation, though, this isn't the first that we've heard of it, though. That's the issue. Because there's been mention of it before, and he always kind of brushes it under the rug. It almost, like, as weird as this is to say, it almost reminds me of when everyone was challenging Trump to release his taxes. So Trump just tweeted a picture of his taxes. Like, we almost need that out of Jake Paul to just show a drug test.
Yeah. But I mean, people are always going to say people are on drugs because Paulo Costa has been accused of that of his whole career. And Yoel Romero. But
and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely
that one's true.
There are fighters that use it. Like, let's not say that no one uses it.
TJ Dillashaw?
Yeah. Maybe Cody Garbrandt should start. But I mean,
just get a new chin.
Yeah. By the way, I really haven't been able to find anything on this, so I'm thinking it's fake. But I'm seeing a lot of BKFC Cody Garbrandt stuff.
I think that's the last thing you should go do.
That's exactly what I thought. I really hope to God that's a fake thing, because I haven't been able to find anything on it, and I'm thanking God for that right now.
It's got to be fake, but think about where does he go from here? I know this is a different conversation, different day, but he went to flyweight after losing a bantamweight fight. Does he go back up? Wait, it's the same Cody.
And he got murdered. Like, it wasn't even close.
What does he do? Like, this is I don't know, but that's a different day.
Another guy that possibly could be leaving, Ngannou. I heard now that the UFC hasn't reached out to his manager in 6 months. Like,
that around the time he did complain about pay. He said he's broke. He can't even afford trainers and stuff. So
Have you seen his house though? Because
Yeah.
he has a
Downside.
mansion in Vegas.
Why don't you downsize, Francis?
So it's a weird situation too, because his contract says if he wins this next fight, it's automatically extended one extra fight. I don't see him throwing the fight, but I see him definitely still wanting that new contract. I feel like he just has to go show that he's worth all the money that he wants.
I think someone's running. I don't know if Francis is getting scared of Ciryl Gane, but
No, it's the next fight that I think he's afraid of.
you don't want John Jones.
I don't think you want John Bones Jones.
Hydrated, motivated John Jones.
I mean, we see what his brother does on NFL Sundays every week.
Exactly.
And he's probably brother number 2 in that family because John Jones is gifted.
He's the greatest mixed martial artist of all time, hands down. I'll always say that. He's the GOAT. And, he looks good right now.
Yeah. I mean, where do you guys think he could possibly go if he doesn't go or if he doesn't stay with the UFC, though, for Ngannou?
I mean, who would offer him the most? That's probably whoever offers him the most money.
But who would that be?
He'd be a PFL type of guy, I feel like.
I have a weird feeling Eagle FC.
That's a different topic, but I absolutely hate what Khabib's trying to do right now in Eagle FC.
Now that it is based out of Miami, not Dagestan. That's the next thing we're going to real quick talk about. What do we think of Eagle FC? Like, they are making moves, but are they doing it too quickly? Like, what is Khabib doing?
Khabib's recruiting like crazy right now, but I don't think Eagle FC. I did a little bit of research on them. I don't know anything really about Eagle FC at all, other than Khabib, obviously. Thing, yeah. I just don't want. I know Khabib is the type of guy that, with his platform, he can steal a decent amount of good fighters, and I think actually like Eagle FC's. It's not going to blow up, but it's going to take away some good fighters from the UFC and stuff. I do think that, or it could be a platform. You win a championship in Eagle UFC fighter, and it gets you more popularity because Khabib's promoting it. It could be good for the sport too.
It could be very good. However, I don't think that's what Khabib's motive is, which is very, very strange. I mean, it's almost like he's burning every bridge that he had with UFC.
Which is funny because a lot of his fighters are making their living off the UFC.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I don't know what to think of Eagle FC. I think we're going to need more news. I can't bash it completely, mostly because they credentialed us for media. So I can't bash it too much. No, if it's between that and a UFC event, we're going to the UFC.
I'm not gonna lie, I absolutely would love to go to an Eagle FC fight.
Yeah, the weird thing is there's no ring girls, I heard.
Khabib's against it.
Khabib's highly against them.
When you leave the arena, like, you're good.
Yeah, I know. There's definitely gonna be I don't think there's women fighters in the UFC.
Fuck no.
Khabib doesn't like women.
That would make a lot of sense, to be honest.
Look, it's a different culture. I don't know what it is, but Khabib specifically,
Goats.
he likes goats and he likes laying in tubs with other naked men. I've never seen him with a female, so
Never. Not even kidding. I've never seen him with a female.
Honestly, if anyone can find a picture of Khabib, like genuinely with a female, like actually engage in a conversation other than a normal picture, I'll pay you $10.
Yeah, tweet it to us. We'll give you all credit on all social media. We'll post it because I just don't think it exists.
Khabib's
That's not his mother. That you can probably find a picture of him and his mom. No family members, and no female goats either.
He likes to wrestle bears and fight, and he does not talk to females.
It has to be a human female.
No goats or bears.
All right, we're gonna move into a more fun situation though. No more news. End of the year awards. So we got a couple categories. We'll kind of debate them because I'm sure we're gonna have some different answers. I'm sure we'll have some same answers. Let me see what's gonna be the most logical order to go in. Let's start with the boring categories, I guess, first. Gym of the year.
I like that. Yeah.
Sam, why don't you start us off?
I mean, this is really the only gym I know. I did a little bit of research on it, like who was the top fighters at which one. I just had American Top Team.
That's the easiest one to go with, I feel like.
American Top Team does well. But of late, Dustin and Amanda on the same night. Oof.
Kayla Harrison's shaking now, too. I wouldn't want to fight Pena. Wait, so what gym did you have, Hunter?
Sanford MMA. Trevor Whitman. His boys, Kamaru Usman, Rose Namajunas, and Justin Gaethje, all incredible 2021s. Absolutely, Trevor Whitman is the guy.
That's who I have for Coach of the Year.
Yeah, so Coach of the Year. Well, let me start Gym of the Year. Gym of the Year, I had Syndicate MMA out in Vegas. Not because of the talent that's actually in the gym. It's the talent that they were able to host during the entire COVID situation, where like Dan Hooker would come over to Syndicate. All these people from Canada were going to Syndicate just to get their training camps in because their countries wouldn't allow them, basically. So it's not really a fact that they have the best fighters. It's more the fact that without them, we wouldn't have seen a lot of good fights that we saw. So it's more of just like a thank you, Syndicate. Coach of the Year, he's undefeated. We don't like his promotion, but I have Khabib. I mean, I don't like Khabib. Like, let me get that like out there. I wanted to vote Trevor Whitman, which is easily the number 1A and 1B. But Khabib is undefeated as a coach. We saw Islam again. His brother. It's all.
There was that one card where that one bigger dude got like gassed out or something. I believe Khabib was in his corner. I believe he had.
I think he was on just in his corner. I don't think he's his coach though.
Okay.
It's like Dan Hooker being in Kai Car Francis' corner. I think he was just there because he's Khabib. He wanted to be.
But I like it. I mean, I'm going with Whitman, just like Sam, I believe. It's undisputably Trevor Whitman. Rose had one of the best years you can have as a female. Kamaru Usman's up there with GSP now. If you're in that conversation, Gaethje's literally just absolutely demolishing everybody right now. Has a chance to probably fight for the title against Oliveira. Like Trevor Whitman he's taken all these guys from different gyms and made them this good. It's absolutely Trevor Whitman for me.
Moment of the year. I'll start it off. I have Brandon Moreno becoming the first Mexican-born champion. From the 2017 moment where he promised that he will be champion one day to just seeing the emotion that went on his face when Dana put the belt on him. It's hard for me to go against Brandon Moreno. I think he's a great story. I think that he is an inspiration for a lot of people. So I like that Brandon Moreno was able to pull it off.
Yeah, for me, I had Glover becoming the oldest first-time champ in UFC history.
Yep, me too.
So, I mean, that's really not much debate on so far here because I'm just getting outvoted. Submission of the year. Again, I have Brandon Moreno over Figueiredo because of what it ended up doing. Figueiredo, who was on a pretty good run, just halted. I think there's going to be a couple of different answers that you can give to this one, so let me hear them.
I had Juliana Pena. If you're going to submit the GOAT, you got in Juliana Pena. I'm going to talk about her a lot tonight. Juliana Pena's submission over Amanda Nunes was one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life.
For me, it was Glover over Blachowicz.
So here's the thing with that, and this is why when you're undisputed GOAT of a sport, right? Name another time an undisputed GOAT. And this undisputed that Amanda Nunes was the most dominant fighter ever. This was undisputed. We even talked about it. She beat Valentina twice. She beat Cyborg. She beat Ronda. To get submitted against a plus like 1100, that is just as crazy as the Holly Holm knockout with Ronda Rousey. Like Juliana Pena's submission. That submission of the year no matter what. I don't care how old Glover is. That's submission of the year.
So the reason I didn't go with the Pena fight is just because of everyone. I mean, now we'll never know because we weren't in Amanda's shoes or Amanda's body at that point. we don't know. Like everyone says it wasn't that tight and that Amanda almost gave up. That's my only issue with the entire submission, is that a lot of people said that Amanda just gave up, which is the point of submission. Like, let's not get that mixed up.
She submitted her to give up.
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of people said it wasn't tight enough, and she just saw what was coming and did it before it really made any impact. Yeah, I don't know if that's true. We'll never know, because again, we weren't put in that situation.
I mean, it was clearly, and it's a rear naked choke. So Amanda was 2 minutes. She's not going to fight out of it. Eventually, she would went to sleep.
Yeah.
It just, for me, it went too fast because I worked that night. So I just saw the highlights. And yeah, it just looked like the submission went pretty fast compared to, Glover, where Blachowicz looked like he was actually trying to fight out of it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's recency bias out of you guys. Just because it was so recent that was the first one you guys remembered. I don't know. This one might have to go to a vote. We'll leave it open.
Look, if we're going off of pure submission, but the way in the atmosphere that was done by Juliana Pena, that's what I'm saying. She submitted the GOAT. That's submission in the air, regardless. I don't care how shitty the choke was or not.
We'll put this one up to vote on Twitter. So go to our Twitter at WOC Maine. Gaining followers pretty quick over there. So make sure to follow as well. Knockout of the year. Mine comes out of Bellator. We interviewed the guy. Ben Big Tuna Parrish over Christian Edwards, just because it was such a big upset. And then we got to see just the star power come out that is Big Tuna, which shockingly, he's been one of the biggest names that people have been trying to interview. So I'm going to try to get him back on the show pretty soon, but having Big Tuna with the underdog knockout, and I think he was like plus 600, has to be it for me.
I have Jiri Projaska versus Dominic Reyes.
Yep, I have that exact one.
God, come on. Did you guys do this together?
Yeah.
That spinning elbow. So it was between that and the Sergio Pettis one for me, but yeah, that spinning elbow was absolutely nasty against Dom.
The other one that I was going to put was the Corey Sandhagen flying knee over Frankie Edgar.
Yeah.
That was, if I was just sticking to UFC, it probably would have been that. And I mean, the part of it is just that I like Big Tuna, so I had to put him somewhere in this list.
I think that's debatable either way. All those knockouts really good. The Sergio Pettis one was the other one I was going with, on the simple fact that it was for a title fight. He was losing the whole fight late in the fight. I think like 20th minute of the fight. So that spinning back fist was nuts.
All right, prospect of the year. Sam, I'll let you start this one.
I had Khamzat.
See, that's why I didn't want to go first, because I'm not really sure what is considered a prospect anymore.
Yeah, I was debating that as well. So
I didn't put Khamzat. So if we're going with Khamzat, that's fine. But my answer might change from what I had listed.
I wasn't sure what you qualified as it. I just did like kind of early in their UFC careers.
To be fair, I guess he wasn't ranked to begin the year, was he?
No, I don't think he was ranked in his last fight.
He may have been ranked to begin the year and then dropped out because he was so inactive.
No, he has not been ranked at all yet until this last fight.
Until now. Okay, so I guess technically he would have started probably as a prospect. Who do you have then, Hunter?
I have two. I couldn't decide between the two. For me, prospect is someone we have just seen. So this year, I went up based off debuts. And as an Irish guy, Ian Gary. And I'm also going Paddy Pimblett. Those freaking European boys are absolutely dogs. Ian Gary, at times, was close to losing that fight. Ends with a nice knockout. Paddy Pimblett was getting beat up and then came out with amazing, both great debuts, both killed it on the mic so they can actually like build their brand. Both shot up in popularity. So those are my two prospects of the year.
Speaking of Paddy Pimblett, did you see his next fight?
They announced it.
Cowboy.
Paddy Pimblett gets Cowboy Cerrone.
Yeah.
At lightweight.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think it's gonna be Cowboy's last fight. He's gonna try to take down a pretty big prospect, and we'll see where it goes.
Honestly,
I think that's March 5th. I think is the date.
well, Patty's got food, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Is that on pay-per-view or a fight night?
I think that one's a fight night card.
I'll get a headline on fight night, yeah.
Probably. My prospect, then I'll end up having two. I'll still stick with the one that I had listed. Again, another Nurmagomedov and Usman Nurmagomedov, which is probably the scariest name for any MMA fighter, because two of the greatest.
Yeah.
But 14-0, that's pretty hard to beat. I mean, he's over in Bellator right now. I'm sure UFC debut is coming as soon as he wins the belt over in Bellator, because I'm sure it's going to happen. And then if I'm going to add the name in, I don't know if I can go a single episode without saying Song Yadong. Young kid. I know he's been ranked for most of the year, but the kid just continues to win. He continues to kind of rise in the rankings. I think he's going to be a real contender in these next couple of years.
He's the number one prospect, right? Under 25, they said, or fighters under 20.
ESPN had him as the top prospect under 20, or top MMA fighter under the age or 25 or younger or something. But yeah, so we'll go female fighter of the year. I think I already know who Hunter's pick is going to be. It's probably going to match with Sam's pick. I'm going Rose Namajunas, though. Just 2 wins against Weili Zhang. Who knows what's coming up in 2022, but that's beside the point. You guys already touched on the Trevor Whitman connection. I think that Rose had a very impressive 2021, and I see her hopefully continuing it. If it's Carla Esparza, if it's Joanna Jędrzejczyk, I don't know if she's gonna be able to continue it, but I have Rose for this year regardless.
So I have Kayla Harris. You guys would think I'm going Juliana Pena, right? No, because Juliana Pena did something great this year, but Kayla Harrison absolutely demolished and manhandled every single person that was in front of her. That wasn't even all 3 or 4. I think she had 4 fights this year for like first, second round finishes, everyone. That's a different breed of athlete. Juliana Pena's a beast, but Kayla Harrison, female fighter of the year, going to be the female fighter of the decade. I don't see anyone ever beating Kayla Harrison.
That's shocking to me. I like that pick though.
Yeah, I went with the first true mother champ.
And by true mother, we mean actually gave birth to a child.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Juliana Pena. I just think, that upset victory over Amanda Nunes, the GOAT. That even just one fight, I think that just makes someone's year.
She was what? Did she only fight once this year?
She fought twice. That was her second fight.
She fought on the first Abu Dhabi card, I think, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. I mean, it's still a good year. It's the Nunez fight that puts her over for everything. Real quick, though, how did none of us vote for Valentina?
Because honestly, you're right.
That's the easy pick, though, to
Is
be
it
honest.
expected?
That is the easy expected pick.
That's the pound for pound queen now. So I honestly think what we kept saying on this podcast was Valentina can beat Amanda. Jake and I have said that multiple times that she beat her the first fight or the second fight, I believe. Anyways, but last fight over Juliana Pena, it just shows that Valentina would absolutely maul Amanda right now, 100%.
Male fighter of the year. This one, shockingly, there's some options there. I'm gonna just say that the easy one, because I'm not gonna let us go another easy person to just skip over. It's got to be Kamaru Usman, 3-0 in title fights over pretty big contenders in Masvidal, Gilbert Burns, Colby Covington. 2 of those are rematches. One was an ex-training partner at Sanford MMA. So Kamaru Usman's got to be the easy pick. Again, Trevor Whitman. I guess I pretty much have convinced myself Trevor Whitman has to be coach of the year. But do you guys have anything different than Usman?
I have Oliveira just because Usman beat Masvidal, who honestly, shout out Jorge. He's a fucking dog, one of my favorite fighters. But Jorge Masvidal doesn't win a lot, honestly. I'm going to be honest with you guys. So that wasn't an impressive win.
You could say that it probably wasn't deserved a title shot.
No, not at all. It's a name, right? So I don't think he beat Kobe's Kobe. He's an absolute the number 2 right now. But Charles Oliveira beat Michael Chandler, who came over from Bellator, was the champion of Bellator, got a first-round knockout over Dan Hooker, and then Oliveira knocked him out, and then was able to beat Dustin, who had just 2 wins over one of the greatest names in all sports, Conor McGregor. So, like,
wasn't Tony Ferguson in January as well?
In Tony Ferguson fight, yep. So, like, the Oliveira had an insane year, but Kamaru just dominated. That's probably why it's overlooked. But second of all, Oliveira is finishing everybody. He's not even winning. He's dominating these fights. He won 30-20, like 5 on the scorecards against Ferguson, knocks out Chandler, submits Dustin. So that's my fight of the year.
Yeah, I picked Kamaru.
I mean, I think that's the easiest pick, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm real quick making sure. I don't the Tony Ferguson was the last card of 2020, so 2-0 for him. I guess last one that we really have to say, fight of the year. So I want to make sure that we hit every single one that I want to hit, so I'll let you guys go first.
I have Gaethje Chandler.
Okay.
I had Volk Ortega.
Those were the 2 that I wanted to mention. The only other one that is worth mentioning, and I'm just going to mention it just for the fact that I want to have it out there, Max Holloway, Yair Rodriguez. Another dog fight, which happened the week after Usman Covington, which that's a really hard act to follow. And the fact that so many people saw that as such a great fight just speaks volumes to how good both fighters are. Yair wasn't really fighting for however long. And Max Holloway really didn't need to take this fight. He knew that Volkanovski was next, but decided to do it anyway just because he wants to give fans a good fight. I'm not saying it's going to win. I shouldn't win, but I just want to make sure that it was mentioned. I'm probably going more Volkanovski Ortega, though, which I think is actually what won the UFC award this year.
It did. Yeah, it did. I don't see how you watch the Gaethje fight, though, and say that's not the best fight.
It was so close.
So for me, it was this, because in the Gaethje fight, there was chance both guys almost got knocked out at one point. For me, in the Volk fight versus Ortega, other than the greatest round of all time, where Ortega almost had 2 really good submissions, Volk mauled him. Honestly, guys, like, he mauled him most of the fight.
I think the issue with the fight with Gaethje and Chandler, the issue is that it was 3 rounds, not 5. I think that's the only thing that gets in the way of it.
If it was 5, someone was falling, though.
Yeah, but that might have made it better, to be honest.
Right.
Because who knows what actually would have happened. I know Gaethje says he was untouched, apparently, but we all saw the fight. That's not the truth.
Yeah.
That Volkanovski getting out of that deep guillotine for me just puts it over the top.
Yeah, wild.
I mean, you did say that's probably the greatest round in UFC history.
Has to be one of them, if not one of the Jones Gustafson's first fight. One of those rounds was crazy.
That's true.
Conor and Nate, the round Conor got like 3 knockdowns, then Nate started coming back. Those guys were battling. There's a lot of good rounds, but that Volk one was just nuts.
Yeah, you could say that the round that Conor beat Khabib is up there.
Because no one else
beat Khabib, and Conor did it.
Dominated the round. He outstruck him and didn't get taken down.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good fights in UFC history.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the only one that we have to kind of have a vote for is which one was it?
We have 2.
It was female. I think female fighter of the year.
Of the year.
Yeah, female fighter of the year, and then prospect of the year. We said, right?
Yeah.
Right.
What'd you say?
Submission of the year.
No, submission of the year. Yeah, prospect. I think we all agreed. I'm actually going Ian Gary.
I like that. So that's a debate too. Well, no, because Cosmat's not a. Sorry.
That's kind of where I have the issue. I think that he was too well known.
He's got 2 million followers.
Granted, I guess you could say a prospect is a guy that didn't have a shot at a title shot. Like no one was gonna.
Right.
What?
He fought in 2020 though, so he's like been around a couple years now.
I guess. I mean, technically all these guys have fought, just maybe not on the right stage of the UFC.
Except
But-
Cosmo fought in 20
Yeah.
in the UFC.
I'll go with Ian Gary just because everything from the post-fight interview to how he knocked out Jordan Williams.
Or Patty. But let's put that to a vote for the.
All right, yeah, we can do that. Next week, obviously, Happy New Year's, guys. But next week, what we'll do, same thing I did with the last host of the show. Obviously, we know who's the champion going into 2022. We'll have to kind of make our case for who we think is going to be the champion on New Year's Day 2023. So obviously we don't know all the matchups that'll be happening over the next 12 months, but we have a pretty good idea who's going to be in that title contention, and hopefully getting that shot this year.
Be a fun year.
I think this is going to be the best year of the UFC yet coming up. I think that there's a lot of headlines that are kind of bubbling up already.
A lot of big fights.
You have Ngannou. If Ngannou wins, that might be one of the biggest fights in UFC history.
Francis Ngannou and John Jones at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada would be one of the biggest fights
you think
ever.
they do that T-Mobile?
I 100% do. 100%. That's going to be in Vegas because that's a Vegas fight. It's a Vegas fight.
You don't think it's a Madison Square Garden fight?
That's not an MSG fight because I don't think they're going back there in 2021 after all this bullshit.
That's true.
It's a Vegas fight, though. And
Yeah,
that's one fight that Jake and I, and hopefully Sam, we're 100% going to. If Jones and Ngannou can fight by the end of the year, I don't care if it's on fucking Christmas Day. We're going to that fight.
Yeah, I can't miss that one. I mean, Conor's going to be getting healthy.
Conor's going to have 2 fights probably this year. I guarantee it.
That's crazy.
He's going to fight in July. That'll be like almost a year from his injury, and then December.
We have some very exciting guys climbing up the rankings. Who knows what's in the future for Sean O'Malley? He was part of the conversation that I was like, if we can consider him a prospect, I might throw him in there. But it's hard for me to count that guy. He almost won Male Fighter of the Year, for being real.
Sean O'Malley?
3 knockouts.
Jake, you're high, dude. He's not even top 50.
The competition is not the highest, but he was entertaining, that's for sure.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun year for him, too. Excited to see where he lands.
Maybe we'll finally get
someone
Aljamain
ranked.
versus Jan number 2. Who knows what injuries will come up for Aljamain, though. And it sounds like we're getting the return of Henry Cejudo.
Versus Aaron Donald.
No. For those of you that don't know, I'll post that on Instagram. The stupid comment that some dude made on Facebook. I'm pretty sure he's a Facebook troll. He has to be, I would hope, for anyone to logically be thinking this. But yeah, no, I think it's gonna be Cejudo versus the winner of Holloway Volkanovski.
Cejudo and Donald's who would win in a fight, and that's the easiest answer ever.
Cejudo.
Oh, I don't care.
Submission. Round 1 submission.
There's no way.
No, I know. It would be one punch.
Doesn't Donald outweigh him by like 150 pounds?
Yeah, I think it was 135 to 285. So, and like a good 10-inch height advantage.
Yeah, Aaron Donald would absolutely hurt Henry Cejudo.
But hey, Henry Cejudo training with John Jones. That's pretty interesting. There's gonna be good stories all through 2022, and I can't wait.
It's gonna be a fun year.
Next week we'll cover some news, do that end of the year predictions, and then the week after that, we're on to the next fight card, previewing it. Time's flying.
All right, everybody, enjoy your fucking new year. Let's bring in 2022.
Yeah,
great.
Follow us on social media at WOC Main on everything. Yeah, I mean, we're growing quickly, so hop on before we get too big, I guess.
Join the bandwagon.
Yeah, get on the bandwagon before everyone else does. You don't want to miss out on this. We'll see you guys later. Have a happy new year. Peace.